Hello friends, we are here today to learn about sources of food. Have you ever wondered the variety of food that you all eat? Where does it come from? We eat food that is raw, we eat food that is cooked, we eat fruits, we eat vegetables. But where does all this food come from? So today in this session, we are going to learn about sources of food. But before we do that, let us quickly remind ourselves what are the different functions of food inside the body. The moment you're feeling loss of energy and you drink a glass of milk or maybe eat a chapati and some sabzi, you feel rejuvenated. Why is that? That is because food provides us energy to do all our work. Sometimes when we fall off a bicycle or when we have an accident, we get bruises, our skin comes off. What is it that helps the skin to grow back again? It is food. Food helps in growth and development of the body. The third thing that the food enables us to do is to repair dead cells and damaged tissue. Food also provides us the required material to enable us to fight against diseases. That is the reason when we are ill, the doctor advises that we must take a lot of fruits, a lot of juices that readily help us to overcome our stage of sickness. Now we also need to understand what is it inside the food that gives us all these things. It is the nutrients. Nutrients are actually the substances that go inside our body and perform all these functions. Now coming to sources of food, there are two important sources of food. We get food from plants and animals. Now, food from plants. We all know that animals and human beings both depends on plant for their food requirement. And why is this? This is because plants prepare their own food. Now, how do plants prepare their own food? Let's have a quick recap. As you can see in this picture also, the roots of the leaves absorb water. The chlorophyll in the leaves absorb carbon dioxide from the environment and sunlight from the sun. Together, the leaves use this carbon dioxide, sunlight and water to prepare their own food, which is stored in the leaves in the form of starch and sugars. And as a byproduct of this entire process, the leaves give out precious oxygen. This is the oxygen that we breathe in, and this is the oxygen that enables us to keep living. This entire process is termed as photosynthesis. Now moving on to the kinds of foods that we get from plants. The food from the plant is obtained in different forms. We get food as vegetables. Potatoes, onions, radish, carrot are all vegetables. Vegetables are a good source of vitamins and minerals. So are fruits. Mango, banana, apple, lychee and guava. All these are fruits. Fruits keep us healthy. Fruits keep our skin glowing. The next important thing that we get from plants are cereals. Cereals are seeds of plants like wheat, bajra, barley and rice. Cereals are a good source of carbohydrates and they give us a lot of energy. Coming next to pulses. Pulses are also seeds of some plants like gram, moong, lentil, etc. Pulses are a rich source of proteins. Pulses help us in growth and development. The next kind of food that we get from plants are oils. Oils are actually extracted from seeds of some kinds of plants like mustard, groundnuts, etc. These seeds are also called oil seeds. Next, we come to spices. We all love flavorful food and we make our food flavorful by the use of spices. There are many spices that we obtain from plants. Some are seeds, some are leaves. The spices that we use from plants are like cinnamon, cumin, ginger, thyme, and fenugreek and fennel. The next thing that we get from plants are sugar. We get sugar both from sugarcane as well as sugar beet. Sugarcane are the stems of the plants and sugar beet are the roots of the plants. And now that we have understood the foods that we get from plants, let's move on to food that we get from animals. The food that we get from animals is in 5 main categories. We get milk, meat, eggs, fish, and honey from foods. Coming to milk first. Milk is considered a complete food as it has got all the ingredients, all the required nutrients in it. Milk is obtained from animals like buffaloes, cows, and goats. Here we can see some milk yielding animals. The milk from buffalo is richer in fat. The milk from cows and goats is less in fat. That is why it is suitable for infants, old and sick people. The next category of food that we get from animals is meat. Meat is a rich source of protein and we get meat from animals like sheep, hen and goats. There are some animals which give us both meat and eggs. These animals are called poultry animals. Poultry animals include chicken, fowls and ducks. Eggs are a rich source of protein. Coming next to fish. Fish is another major source of food in our country. Some fish like cod and shark give us the important oils. They are a very rich source of vitamin D. Large-scale rearing of fish is known as pisciculture. Other than these categories of foods that we obtain from animals, we also obtain honey. Honey is obtained from honeybees. Honeybees collect the nectar of various flowers and store them in their beehive in the form of honey. Large-scale rearing of bees to get honey is known as apiculture. Honey is a good source of energy. It is mixed with drinks. Honey is also used as an antiseptic. Having learnt about the various sources of foods, let us understand about the food habits of animals. From our junior classes, we have been learning about the different kinds of food habits of animals. One thing that we know for sure is that animals are heterotrophs. That means that animals have different mode of intake of food. Also, animals depend on plants or other sources of food for nutrition. Coming down to herbivores. Herbivores are animals that eat plants or plant products. Now, the animals have well-developed body parts according to the food that they eat. As we see in herbivores, the animals like horse, cows and buffaloes have flat teeth which are equipped for chewing grass. The next category of animals are called carnivores. As we can see, lions, tigers, wolves, etc. are all carnivores. Carnivores depend on smaller animals for their nutrition. They have very sharp teeth to tear the flesh off the smaller animals. The next category of foods include omnivores. Omnivores, like bears, eat both plant food and they also eat smaller animals. Omnivores have sharp teeth. They also have flat teeth at the back to chew softer tissues, that of plants. Coming next to parasites. Parasites are a very important category of animals. This is because parasites are the reason for many diseases in plants as well as in human beings. That is why it is very important to study parasites and understand the way in which we can avoid ourselves, protect our animals from them. Parasites are very tiny organisms. They use the body of the host to live. They derive their nutrition from the body of the host. If you take the example of bug and mosquito, they have long tube-like structures which they use to inject the body of the host and draw blood out of it. In the process, they transfer harmful germs into the body of the host, which leads to many infections. Similarly, there are other parasites such as tapeworm and hookworm. We have now learned the different modes of nutrition in animals. Coming back to human nutrition. We have learned that we eat both raw and cooked food. Let us now understand the importance of cooking of food. Cooking of food makes food soft and easily digestible. It makes food tastier, and it also kills the harmful organisms that are present inside the raw food. There are many ways of cooking food. We steam food like idlis. We boil food like boiled rice. We also roast food in case of roasted papad. But we have to remember one thing. Although cooking is very important, although cooking enhances the flavor of food, but overcooking destroys the important nutrients of the food. Therefore, we must be very cautious in the ways that we are using to cook food. Also, we must remember that before cooking food, it is very important to wash the food item very thoroughly. Next, we come to food habits based on various regions. Let us understand the eastern regions. The eastern regions like Bihar, West Bengal, Odisha and Assam predominantly eat rice and fish. Coming to the western regions like Goa, Maharashtra, Gujarat are also fond of rice, but they are also fond of items such as dhokla and thepla. Coming to the northern regions of India like Punjab, Rajasthan, Haryana and Himachal Pradesh, people here are very fond of curd, lassi and milk products. People in the southern regions like to eat idlis, dosas and vadas. So as a conclusion to the chapter, let us recall the points that we have learnt in this chapter. We have learnt that food is very important for the body. We have learnt that plants are the major source of energy for both animals and human beings. We have learnt that the food from plants is obtained in the form of vegetables, fruits, oils, pulses, etc. We have understood the various eating habits of animals. They are herbivores, they are carnivores, omnivores and parasites. We have learned how the variety of food eaten in different parts of the country varies. We have also understood the importance of cooking food. So thank you so much for joining us today.